Good evening, and welcome to Dan Bain's Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss. I am Dan Bain, and every episode I improvise a low-stakes podcast for you to fall asleep to. Tonight, it's going to be dull. I hope you're standing by for the lowest of low stakes, because I'm confident this is going to be compellingly spoken, of course, but content, dear friends, not tonight. Before we get on to that, though, I would like to mention a couple of things. One, a degree of functionality has been added to the podcast medium, where now you can send me a text message. Some people have done this. Thank you for your text messages. I cannot tell who they are from, nor can I reply to them through that particular medium, but they warm my heart when they are kind. Insofar they've all been kind. I feel like if someone took the opportunity to send an unkind one, I would turn the function off. Anyway, those are just going to be for me. I thought about, is that an extension to the review system of listener? No, it is not. Those are they are messages for the heart. Here is a message that is not through that medium, but nonetheless I feel comes from the heart. Here is some listener feedback. This listener feedback comes from Ray Nichols, who has left a message via Apple Podcasts, United States of America. Ray Nichols says, title, never heard the end of any of these. 5 golden stars. Before we go any further, Ray, let me just say great opening and great number of stars. If there's any number of stars that really grabs my attention, it's 5. And if there's any colour of stars that grabs my attention, it's gold. And if there's any shape that grabs my attention, it's star shape. Ray Nichols via Apple Podcasts, United States of America edition continues. These podcasts are best thing out there for sleep. I have never heard the end of one. Bored to sleep halfway through or less every time. Hot damn, Ray. That is an endorsement for a sleep aid podcast. It is a terrible review of any other type of podcast. But when, like me, you are in the business of slumbering, hot damn, that's 5 blazing golden stars and a wonderfully kind review. Thank you, Ray. I greatly appreciate that feedback. If you would like to join Ray in feeding back to the show in a public, declarative way, you may do so via the medium of a 5 golden star review on your podcast catcher of choice. I get them easily if they're on Apple Podcast, but I'll find them. Every now and then I'll have a little dig about, see how the public are responding to the material. So if you would like to join Ray in doing that, please feel free to do so. If you would prefer to have a piece of heart-to-heart feedback, well, there's a link. I'm trusting you with that one. Don't abuse that facility. Okay. As always, there are social medias you can follow, but don't even bother. I desperately want to get off them. You could follow the newsletter. But anyway, not now. I mean, that can wait. For now, put down your phone, turn off your screens, close your eyes. Now it's time to be mumbled to sleep. Season 5, Episode 7, Infinity Box. Many years ago now, I was the artistic director of an improvised theatre company. And a part of the process of recruiting new members into that company was every 2 years we would call for submissions, and we would look at performance CVs and whatnot, the applications that came through, and we would make a shortlist from that we wanted to see for a half-day workshop audition. And it would maybe be 10 people. If it were more than that, perhaps we would split it half day, that sort of thing. And over that process, we would kind of test various skills. We would test kind of inherent understanding of narrative and storytelling. Obviously, kind of comedic voice, kind of a raw generation of jokes, that sort of thing. Perhaps most importantly, teamwork and the ability to kind of work in a creative context collaboratively, because obviously you can be a very skilled storyteller, you can be very funny, but the core of the improvisational theatre calls for an ability to be able to work collaboratively, to build on each other's suggestions, not just upon your own. So those were kind of the things that we would do exercises and games and whatnot. And for some time, I would ask that we would finish the day on an exercise called the Infinity Box. And the rules of this game are very simple. You open a box, a mimed box, obviously, a box of the imagination, and you take an item out of the box, and you say what it is, and then you put it to the side, and you take out another item. You name what it is, you put it to the side, you reach into the box, you pick out another item, you say what it is, you put it to the side, and so on and so forth, until such time as you can no longer invent. And I thought this exercise was revealing. Because it's interesting to see how people approach it. Some people will approach it by just free associating. Others will find little tricks or games to enable them to invent. For example, As an example of a technique, a free associative technique is that you name things that start with the corresponding next letter of the alphabet. So you have a sequence which you can pull things out and kind of anchor yourself to. Is a technique. My personal one was always to kind of physically define the object as I mimed pulling it out, and use that to imbue it with some sort of characteristic that then I could name. There's techniques, just techniques, but I think it's interesting insight into people, how they go about this, and how long they can go for. Yes, some people can go for ages and be terribly boring, and other people go for a short amount of time and are very entertaining, and some people can go for a long time and be very... You understand the permutations of where one metric is entertainment, the other one is time. You understand how data can be charted at different points on those two continuums. Anyway, also I thought it was interesting to see who was afraid of it, who was frustrated by it, and who didn't care and just tried it. I think that's what I always wanted to see the most from it, was that it didn't really reveal much about talent or inspiration or ability, which of course is the trick of the exercise, is that you, like all psychological experiments, you state that you're looking for one type of data, but realistically you're actually looking for another type. This one states that, obviously it's about how inventive can you be with the things you pull out of the machine or the box, or how long can you keep going for without repeating or whatever. But I always thought that the interesting thing was, what does it tell me about you? And does it tell me that you want to be someone that I want to perform with? Do I want to be on stage with you? Do I feel like if I'm in trouble that you'll be able to help me? These are the things that I am most interested in, and that I thought the infinity box to some small degree revealed. They don't do infinity box anymore. But hey, here, I've got this box. Let me just get some stuff out of it. I'm going to get some things out of this box Here's the first thing. It's a packet of batteries, but one of the batteries has been taken out, probably got put into a clock. Here's a cage for a rat. Here's a telescope, but the end's broken. Here's a folded up flag. Here's a carob bar, and the package is stained with the tears of a disappointed child. Here is a monkey with symbols sewn onto his hands, and he performs on the street. Here is a single 1 foot by 1 foot square of industrial carpet. Here is a roll of quarters, Canadian quarters, in paper wrap. Here is a garbage can. It is full of garbage. Here is the flute. It's a flute. Zalba Flute. That's a recorder. Actually, it's not a flute. I was mistaken. Here are the proofs for someone's first novel, and every page has corrections on it. Here are some scale models of opera houses around the world, but I only recognise the one from Sydney. Here's an empty bottle. It says Coca-Cola, and it's shaped like the 1960s. Here is a diary that is full of private thoughts, and you ne'er shall know them. Here is a trapeze. It's a static trapeze, though, not swinging. So it has the extended pieces out the side, so you can do static hangs. Static trapeze. Duo or solo. It's rated for it's rated for as many people as you want to put on it. Here is a deck chair for the beach. Here is a fireman's helmet for going into the flames. Here is the murder weapon. Here is a box of tissues, but it's empty. It's just the box. The tissues have all been used up. Also, here is a dried out whiteboard pen. Here is a window squeegee. Here is a Wendigo. There is also in my hand beans, magic beans, and I traded them. For my precious cow. Oh, here's the cow. Got that out as well. Here's some cardboard scraps that have been chewed up by rodents. Here's the egg case of a praying mantis. Here is the it's a A4 what's that? Well, a ream of photocopying paper, and low GSM, GSM, paperweights. Also, here's some paperweights for stopping your papers blow away, and a pet rock. These are all things from the olden times. A vintage car. Austin 7. That was weighty to pull out, but I got it. Here is an elephant. And it is sleepy. Shh. Here is a queen's hat. Not a crown. It is the queen's hat. Very, very different. Don't make that confusion. Here is one of those big Nerf guns that the children on the advertisements have, that are like a Gatling gun emplacement with a crank, like in the First World War. Here are some old rusty hooks. Here's a tetanus vaccination. Phew, lucky. Combine the two. Here is just a single sock. Here's a seagull. Here's a Senegalese man. What is an entire person doing in the box? I don't know. Here is a French to English translation dictionary, but it's a 1972 one, so it doesn't have the latest slang. Here is a ice cream cone, and also a box of popsicles, just lemonade flavour. Here is a saline pump. Here is some Botox injectables pack, homemade for home application. Here's a PlayStation 4. Here is a Elvis Pompadour wig. Here is a pomegranate. Here is the apple that Snow White ate. Here's the apple that Eve ate. Here's the Apple computers that Steve Jobs ate. Here are 8 apples. Here's my headphones. They're pretty good ones. Here is a nail file. Here is a kangaroo, and I can fit in the pouch because it is so big. Here is a self-portrait of a monk. Here are a pair of Chuck Taylor Converse shoes. Here is a real big panoramic view. Here is a children's ABC book, one of those board books for babies with the cardboard pages. Here is the tag to hold a bread bag shut, to keep the bread fresh. Here's a bottle of wine. Here's a wheel of cheese. Here's a baguette. Here's a candle. Here's a nightgown. Here's a pillow. Here's a duvet. Here's ease. Here's contentment. Here's stillness. Here's rest. That was Season 5, Episode 7 of Sleepy Time Mumbles. Infinity Box. Sleepy Time Mumbles is produced by Noost, Octopus, Theatre, etc. and created and hosted by me, Dan Bain. You can follow the show. You can. Until next time. Good night. Sleep tight.